Hey, hi, hello. I hope everybody's doing good. Oh, I realized. Oh no, Jeff, he's coming for me. Shh, nobody saw anything. Nobody saw anything. I was working on this off stream, and I realized, hold on. Uh, uh, okay, we're okay. I love how that was gonna be what did me in. That was gonna be what ended my art career with Jeff Bezos. Was Yin's Nippy. That was I watched my life flash before my eyes. Right, see, look, nobody saw anything. Shh, we saw nothing. We saw nothing. How you doing, Aqua? I hope you're having a good day. Also, hi, Carix, how are you? Welcome in. Okay, what the fuck am I doing? Hi, Cow. Hope everybody's having a good day. Sorry if I am not on my game today. I effectively did not sleep at all. Oh god, I'm sorry work sucked butthole, but I am glad that you have cheese. The cheese that does make things better. Where's that clip of Wallace from Wallace and Gromit being like cheese? Oh my god. I was reading the art fight roadmap. I can't. Don't talk about art fight. I'm not ready for that again. I have a plan for art fight. I've talked about it with Lava Gale, who is in streams sometimes, but I'm not gonna tell anybody what my plan is because it is nefarious and it's so funny. And I'm so excited for art fight to happen because then I'm just gonna be trolling everybody and it's gonna be, oh my god, it's gonna be so good. Oh, Carrigs, it's so nice. Yeah, sorry I'm a little bit late today. I was trying to work through a logistics issue with my mom, who is my greatest soundboard. She truly is like the nicest of all time. But I'm running into an issue. I've realized I've hit an ethics issue at the job that I work at, and I am nervous about it. And I recognize that I'm in a position where this job that I'm working, it is effectively the only secure income that I have. And when I moved to Canada, I was planning on effectively only working this job and nothing else, and working it full time. For context, I like, and especially for those who are not American, we have a very specific issue over here that I think popular politicians like to call the gig economy. And effectively, what that means is no one can get a stable 40-hour a week, benefited, stable, good wage job. And so then, unfortunately, what that means for us is that a lot of Americans are working like 2 to 3 to 4 jobs. I happen to be in that particular situation. So if I lose this job because I morally decide that they're doing something that is not ethical, I can't pay rent. Right? So I've now been backed into a very weird corner, and I'm not a huge fan of that at all. So I was trying to work out like what I should potentially do about it. I have to wait until my boss gets back to me. I tried to be as cordial about it as possible, but could be potentially an issue. So we'll see how it goes. And what makes me nervous about it is mostly just that, like, I recognize because I'm in the game industry, that's just banking entirely on me getting a game design job or an animation job when I go to Canada. And that industry is very, very tight. And so if I can't get that to work, then I could potentially be in a really bad spot. And I have to be able to make money. Otherwise, Canada won't let me stay. Right? So suddenly, this makes things really not great. And likely what would happen is I will get forced into a position where I have to compromise some ethics in order to not starve, and that's a really bad place to be in. I've been there before, and I told myself that I was not going to be put in that position for work again. And unfortunately, that's kind of where I'm at. Also, hi, Lady Goo. Just as a heads up for commissions, I am booked out all the way through April, so the soonest I can get to commissions of any kind is May. If you're interested, go for it, but you will be put on a wait list until May, just because I'm so busy with editing clients and things like that, just as a heads up. That's like literally the first time that's ever happened to me. It is insane. I've literally never been in that position for art. It's crazy. I am very blessed that people actually like my work and my editing, so thank you. It's a blessing and a curse. I need to go buy a calendar. Want to get a journal. Nice. Oh yeah, for migraines and stuff. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That's a really good idea to see what is like potentially triggering it if you can figure that out. That ain't a bad strat. Sometimes that's all you can do. Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully everybody is having a good time today, though, and is working on fun stuff. I recognize I'm in a weird place. Hey, yo, we got to hydrate. I bet you we got a self-care combo that we do. Everybody hydrate, sit up straight, drink liquids. Don't die. Don't be shrimping. There we go, better. Honestly, what is ADHD but being a Tamagotchi, though, actually? Like, I have a lot of questions about that, because I do think that if you have ADHD, unfortunately, you have been resigned to what I would call Tamagotchi life, and that is just the way it goes. Oh, thank you for that stream streak. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea. Like, you all make my days so much better. I can't even tell you probably the amount of stress that I would be under if I didn't have this community. So I really do appreciate you all. I have to go back to grading my students' darn assignments today. I don't want to do it. But we're on week 7. I'm grading week 7 out of 8 now, so I'm almost free. Oh, Caniac combo from Cane's. 8 chicken tendies, 4 sauces. That sounds delicious, though. I actually, surprisingly, I don't like chicken. However, I went over to Popeyes for the first time, and my husband has a really funny story about how he would not exist if it was not for Popeyes. Actually, like, legitimately, Popeye's chicken is the reason he was born. So that's a funny story. But I never have had Popeyes until like literally like last week, and that shit was delicious. I'm gonna say I exist. I'm not gonna put a good or a bad label on it. I am net neutral, existing at the moment. But I'm okay. Jace unfortunately had a pretty severe allergic reaction a couple days ago, so is still recovering from that. He is getting better though, but he was very sick for like 3 days, which was not great, and is still sick today. But he's doing all right. Effectively, because he's been sick, I haven't been sleeping, so that's been cool. So that's the biggest struggle for today, is how much can I get through without totally crashing and burning. Yin is so silly. Oh my god, fangirling at Wukong, you're so nice. You're so nice to me. He had so many redesigns. I feel like I'm finally so happy, like, at least that this looks good. You know, like, my anatomy was ass in the beginning. I started working on this comic in like 2018, or actually more like 2016, 2017. First iteration was super bad, and then I had to go and redraw it and digitize the entire thing, and then that version was bad, and then I had to redo the entire anatomy, and then I published it in 2020, and then it like lived. But like, sweet God, it was, hoo boy. Oh man, I can tell my motor function today is like not good, unfortunately. But that's what happens when you only sleep 4 hours, y'all. Surprise! Your limbs stop working and you can't read. I don't know if you knew that, but you need sleep to function, which is crazy, I know. I'm sorry school is gross. But yeah, allergies suck. Yeah, also we're about to enter allergy season. I'm not a huge fan of that. It's been so dry here in Colorado too. Like my nose has legitimately just not stopped bleeding for like 2 weeks. It's like this is fun. I love living in a desert. Oh my God, when you were in 3rd grade. Time is weird, huh? I had just graduated college. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Carix. Yeah, because I wanted to make him... He's not really like a monkey per se. I really wanted to have him be the in-between between monkey and human because he is a god. And because hair in the Ming Dynasty was so important, I was like, well, he has to have gorgeous hair. Obviously. And a lot of the flashbacks, he has shorter hair because he didn't know. He didn't know that that was like a thing he could and should do. But he's really pretty heavily based off of like Ming Dynasty, specifically like culture and fashion. I am very tempted to do like the C drama half down, half up hair at some point, but I have to tell myself that I will bring dishonor on me and on my entire family if I do that. Where's Mushu? He's like, dishonor on you? Dishonor on your cow? I can't do it. Sure, this will work. I think that they have black pants anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it too bad. I have to get the buttons, though. And then, unfortunately, I do have to draw the background on this, which I don't know why I set myself up for failure today, but that's what happened to me. Yeah, I love the C drama hair, and like I get that it's very, very pretty, but yeah, my goal is definitely more like I'm very proud that this comic is in some cases like in terms of dialogue, like oh of course Photoshop updated. This like comic is in some cases like the dialogue is line for line from the original book because I want it to be really accurate. So making it so that I'm not really a huge fan of this line. We're gonna get rid of this. That's a grody. But yeah, accuracy is key. I'll just go like this. There we go. That's better. All right, now I gotta go file or edit, keyboard shortcuts, because of course, every time Photoshop updates, it's gotta have reset all of my keyboard shortcuts. And I thought that I had fixed this issue, but apparently Photoshop hates me, so. And hates everyone for that matter. Oh, I should show the band art. Yeah, sure, I will do that. Guys, it's time to eat a snack. If you haven't eaten anything yet today, please go do that. I recognize I struggle with that a lot. So don't be me, just eat food. Just consume. Okay, let me open that up. Hold on, where is that thing? This thing. This is all based on a terrible inside joke. This is the rock band AU that does not exist. But by God, I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad. I do blame Cal for this. I blame Lear the Witch for this, though. I love Sean's hair. She's very cute. This was a fun piece of art, though. I can't wait until Leon's actually in the comic. I feel like I'm going to be waiting for 4 million years for Leon to actually show up. I am. I'm kind of sad about it. He's my favorite. He gives zero shits about anything. I love my stupid children. That's all I have to say. My Oshi, I have no idea what that is. Assume that I know nothing always. I'm not very connected on the internet, despite what it may look like. Hey, cleaning your desk is always a good thing, though. Yeah, nope, I've never heard of that. I don't know why I would need to be on there, necessarily. I don't consider myself a VTuber. I consider myself a trans person hiding from the US government. Like, if I could comfortably show my face on stream without getting misgendered, I would. But unfortunately, that is not the world we live in. So this is, like, the only reason I have even an avatar is simply for my own, sanity here. And, truly, I'm very lucky that it is the best PNG tuber ever made on the whole planet. Lear the Witch literally made the best damn PNG tuber of all time. But yeah, I'm not really much of a social media person. The only place that I really hang out is TikTok. Because I actually get engagement over there, which is also pretty dope. Okay, now this is where I cry, and I have to do this. This is like the last shot in this scene. Yeah, no, I had to try and explain to my mom. Like, if those of you who are in the U.S. are not aware, there's this reporter. Her name is Erin in the Morning. She's an amazing reporter. She focuses explicitly on trans issues in the U.S. She is also married to the only trans person in the Minnesota state house. So this representative is not in Congress or in the Senate. She's on the local government level. Zoe Zephyr is the representative's name. But Erin's entire thing is effectively making maps of the U.S., live maps of where it is safe for trans people to go and where it is not. If you are familiar with U.S. history, you might be familiar with the term Green Book. And if you're not, a Green Book was a guide that was made by Black Americans during the Jim Crow era of the United States, where Black people were being discriminated against. They were segregated from entering specific public spaces. And there were places called sundown towns where it was physically unsafe for Black people to be. So a very influential Black author created what they called the Green Book, which was effectively like, where as a Black person is it safe for you to go in the U.S., which cities are in the green, and which cities are not safe, right? And so that was a pretty common thing for Black folks to use. There is still a Green Book app for Black travelers in the U.S. You can download it and avoid a bunch of really racist places. But Erin in the Morning does a very similar thing with trans maps, specifically of like where it's safe for trans people to go and where like LGBTQ plus people in general, but especially trans people, based on the laws and legislation that was passed. But just recently, Kansas is now a no-fly zone for trans people. So the it feels definitely like a noose. I just honestly just get sick of getting misgendered. I recognize that the last time I was streaming was before transitioning, and unfortunately, I ended up getting sexually harassed a lot on the internet by male viewers, which was, I know is a pretty common experience for most femme-presenting or female streamers. So it's not unusual to me. It wasn't that I didn't anticipate that to be the case. Like, I was pretty fully prepared for those kinds of things to happen. But that also resulted in my account getting follow botted after I told a specific viewer to knock some shit off in my stream because he was being incredibly inappropriate, and then he decided that the action was to follow bot the shit out of my stream. And I had, like, I think close to like 1,600 or 1,700 followers on my first channel, and I had to completely nuke that channel because it was no longer safe. So, really sad. Long story short, I don't want to have that happen again on this channel, just because this community is amazing, and I would rather not have to start from, like, square one. I don't even know. I don't remember even if I have, like, the trans label on my stream anymore. I used to, and I think I took it off for a while. I might have put it back on, but I don't remember. But yeah, this is what I want. To open this page back up. But yeah, I definitely am not doing like I wish I was doing the VTuber thing for a fun reason, but that's not really my scene or my crowd. Hey, Felix, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. Sorry, we're talking about low-key kind of some heavy subjects. I wish that wasn't the case and that we could just, like, yeah, not stress out, but alas, here we are. Okay, I guess on the plus side, I don't have to draw the, let me turn off these other panels. I don't have to draw the very nasty chair situation here. I dodged all the chairs, which I'll take. Okay, my perspective was really not good. Hopefully we have good vibes in here. I try to typically have good vibes. I have recognized I haven't been sleeping, so that's been my whole thing, but I do appreciate you coming in. I'll introduce myself really quick. My name is Tycho. I'm an artist, an award-winning author, and an animation professor. I also run my own publishing company, and I publish mostly a lot of books and make comics. I'm normally here for a good time, but things have been really weird here in the U.S. of A. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of big shifts. And also, too, Mercury's in retrograde tomorrow. Like, I feel like that's all I gotta say. Mercury's in retrograde starting tomorrow for 3 weeks. I can feel it coming. I can feel the crust. It's coming. I have not seen a fish in a wheelchair, but I have seen the movie The Incredible Mr. Limpet, if anybody wants to be traumatized by a very old animated film that low-key I think gave a lot of kids trauma. I joke, but also that is the thing of nightmares. I do appreciate the moral of that film, though. That whole film was about a dude who just decided he didn't want to be human anymore, so he transformed himself into a fish because he was just so fed up with people. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, Mr. Limpet, maybe you were right, dude. Maybe you were right. What does that mean? Mercury is in retrograde. So when you're looking at planets and how they move around in the sky, in astrology, when you have a retrograde movement, meaning. So let me actually look up a little diagram. So it is the apparent backward movement of a planet in the night sky, reversing its normal eastward motion. So effectively, for a quick space diagram here, because of the way that our planet rotates and all that cool stuff, we perceive certain things moving in specific directions, which can make planets look like they're moving backward. So, for example, right here, you can see Mars and the planet Earth here in this diagram, where Earth passes it and it goes very fast. And so it looks like when we cross over Mars as the Earth is moving faster in orbit, it will look like to us that Mars is going backward. So Mercury and like as the planet in right now, that's kind of what it looks like in the sky. But from an astrology standpoint, because Mercury is Hermes, the god of travel, business, communication. It's a planet because its orbit's so close to the sun that goes into retrograde very often. For us, we see it go backwards a lot. But if you subscribe to the astrology thing, that effectively means that a lot of communications stuff and business stuff is going to take kind of a hit. So a lot of people tend to have communication breakdowns, stress at work. They'll send embarrassing messages or bad typos in emails. They make hasty decisions in terms of like business contracts or things like that. And so it can just be a very slow or difficult time for signs. And it especially depends on what, I guess, like what sign Mercury is in retrograde in, because it'll cross through different constellations as well. It's like being, if you're familiar with the term Dai Shui or Fan Dai Shui in Chinese mythology, or Chinese astrology, Fan Dai Shui is being out of favor of the Dai Shui. It's a very similar effect where you're just, it's not going to be your year. Is that why it's been hell at my job lately? It might be the buildup. Mercury in retrograde doesn't start until tomorrow, but I always find that like the first like week or so, maybe the first like especially 3 to 4 days before Mercury hits retrograde, it can get just really gross. I ain't a fan. I ain't a fan of the Mercury in retrograde. Hermes is one of my patron gods, and for me, it's like he runs like a hamster on a wheel 24/7, and so at some point he has to take a break, and so that's when business really slows down and stops, because he just decides like, hey, I need to chill out and take a break. But then that means too, you shouldn't really be making a lot of business decisions during that time, because it can get kind of wild. I'm so glad I drew these stupid couch patterns, and then I don't have to do them ever again. Am I lazy? Yes. There we go. It's beautiful. All right, let me do some perspective here. Wow. They do. Yeah, they do get added to astrology sometimes. It depends on what kind of astrological practice you like do. Also, hi Malpamene, it's good to see you again today. Yeah, it depends on like what religious or spiritual basis you have your astrology. But honestly, because so many of these ancient bodies have been around for a really, really, really long time, the Greeks especially, and more so the Egyptians, were so good at mapping the night sky that it's very rare that we discover an astrological body that they had not already mapped. It's very cool. They were super, super precise. Freakishly accurate. Hello? I don't want to be in mask mode, thank you. That's not really what I wanted, but... Molto grazie, I guess. Let me... Actually, I can do this the easier way. I am a fool. Hello? Oh my god, that's such a mood though, when you're like, I nailed it the first time, and then you never have to like do it again. True. Okay, so now I gotta clean up the bottom of this, because this is garbaggio down here. We don't look at this. Shh, don't look at it. Okay, we're good. I'm just not gonna think about the couch too much. I recognize I'm super tired. This is gonna be on like one panel for 4 seconds. I don't have to worry about it. Everything is okay. Let's see. I need to do an offering for Hermes, actually. That reminds me. I owe him wine. I can't drink the offering today, though, because my brain is all messed up, so I'll have to do it tomorrow. Let me see here. What am I doing? Yeah, my processing power is just, like, trash. Okay, so let's go here. Surprisingly, the Greeks were actually very, very good at, again, more so the Egyptians. A lot of the astrology that we have was really Egyptian-based, and then the Greeks and the Egyptians were trading a lot of information with each other. But you can surprisingly see a lot with your naked eye. Because if you can imagine, back in the day, they had significantly less light pollution, and so what they were looking at was often with their eyes alone. And they couldn't see very, 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 very distant stuff that would be impossible to see with our eye. And telescopes were not invented until, when was the year? Let's see. They were invented in 1608. So the Greeks were doing, and the Egyptians were doing astrology and astronomy specifically. So astronomy is the science side, not the divination side. But they were doing astronomy for like 5,000, 6,000 years BC. And the telescope was not invented until 1600 AD, right? And so a lot of these things, they were using really advanced geometry and trigonometry to guesstimate where certain bodies were located in the sky. And then effectively using mad math to try and figure out where stuff was. So they were insane. They were very talented scientists. And a lot of our knowledge of space, like, thankfully we don't prove, or haven't been able to really prove a lot of their stuff wrong. But those guys also were the dudes who knew that the earth was round before, like, white people were like, no, it's flat. And the Greeks were like, what do you mean, bro? Like... We can see the earth curve with our eyeballs. Are you okay? The answer was they were not okay. They were not. Renaissance scholars in Europe were not fine. They also thought the leech thing, so I don't trust them necessarily. Also, hi Chips. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, as soon as we got, like, humans got telescopes, they were, like, insane. Our third eye opened, I'm pretty sure. It was a huge advancement for the astronomy community. But a lot of astronomers around the time of the invention of the microscope were actually moving to Greece to study astronomy specifically because the Greeks were so far ahead from the rest of the world that it didn't make any sense to study astronomy in Europe, whether you were in Scandinavia or Central or Western Europe just as a whole. Just because everybody's technology was so far behind, it was really bad. But the Chinese also, not to like not touch on the Chinese as well, they were also insanely good at astronomy predating the telescope. They were really, really smart as well. But a lot of that information also traveled along the Silk Road, too, so everybody was very well connected back then. It's pretty sick. Science is cool or something. Yeah, oh my god, we don't talk about it. Carrick's, no, they had such amazing art. Seriously, beautiful stuff. I do feel bad because they iconoclasted all of the good anatomy, so they had to relearn how to draw humans because all we had was scary man-baby Jesus from, like, the Byzantine period before that. So that was rough, but the philosophers from that period were also really incredible. I respect the Flemish especially. They were really, really great artists. Oh, you know what I forgot? Doesn't surprise me that this was a thing that I forgot here. I'm going to be doing this thing for probably 80 pages where I forget to draw the damn bolo tie. And this is literally going to be on her costume for the rest of the comic. Like, I have no excuse. Not scary man, baby Jesus. Yeah, have you seen images of Byzantine Jesus? Because he ain't great. He's low-key kind of horrifying. He's all right. It's effectively what ended up happening was like during the Crusades, the Romans destroyed a bunch of Greek art and a bunch of just like Mediterranean art in general, and the Greeks were like masters of anatomy. They destroyed all the art, and then everybody effectively collectively forgot how to draw, because when you destroy the art and you outlaw the masters, then nobody can teach those things. And that's how we ended up with the Vatican having an entire room of penises, because they knocked all the penises off the marble statues, and then they kept them. So that's though you can go to the Vatican right now and be mortified. Stare directly into the eyes of all the wieners, statue wieners. But yeah, we effectively forgot how to draw. It was pretty tragic. Not a great move on humanity's part, but war does wild shit. The Romans low-key were largely problematic. Oh my god, this is the combo I return to. Yeah, the Vatican weenies. Art history is never boring. That's, I guess, at least the plus side is that we might be a little traumatized, but at least art history's funny. Oh my god, Catherine the Great's furniture. No, you're right though. Oh, it's so true. So true. Contacted the guy I got the motherboard from. He offered to help me do CMOS checks on the motherboard. That's good. Yeah, because then that at least will give you better diagnostics as to like what's going on. So hopefully that'll give you some answers. For all you know, too, it could be like a screw is kind of weird. Like, legitimately, sometimes that happens where, like, a screw will pop out and it, like, ruins the whole, like, connectivity of the motherboard. And then all you have to do is take a screw out and then re-screw it in, and then it fixes itself. It's like, okay. Computers are weird. I don't claim to understand, but I'm just a man. A man who happens to build computers on occasion. Yeah, people will always be people is art history. No, you're right, though. It's true. I'm all for it. I like people making weird stuff. I feel like humans really wouldn't be humans if we didn't make weird, messed up nonsense. Like, we've always been making weird stuff. Yes, yeah, Mapamanea, you're not wrong. Yeah, ancient Rome was a very, like, Rome was a really bad time, like, from, like, a religious standpoint, a societal standpoint, and, like, I'm sure for some people living there, it was probably, like, fine. You know, I use, like, fine pretty loosely, you know, but, like, I would not, you could not have paid me to live in ancient Rome. Some of the worst people that have, like, ever lived were, like, ancient Roman rulers. And other people were doing messed up stuff, too, but Rome in particular was doing some, like, really unnecessary stuff. Mostly during, like, the later periods. I feel like this stream just became, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Too much, okay? Clearly an unnecessary amount. No. I closed this and I didn't mean to. That was very tragic for no reason. Oh, yeah. It's art history is amazing. I did enough art history when I went to art school that I should theoretically have a minor in art history, but the school that I went to didn't do minors for degrees. So now I have just an unnecessary amount of particularly animation history knowledge, and I'm like, am I ever going to use this? Probably not. But do I have it? I do indeed. Too much. My brain is full of the bad facts. But that's okay. The bad times. What's that one quote from Little Miss Fortune? She's like, yikes forever. There's a gap right there. To Wukong's eyebrows. Look at that. Yikes forever. Yeah. I think about that one particular clip where I think there's like the dog is like eating the throw up on the ground. She's like, oh no. Yikes forever. Oh, whoops. Yeah, that one when you forget his neck. She's fine. He's fine. Oh, and actually, too, his entire, like, robe set in this outfit is all the same color as well. Boop! I have to say goodbye to all of these easy well, and actually, I think the next page is okay. It's not as problematic either. I think it's one of those, like, background photo pages, so I'm going to be okay. I recognize I'm like a little bit behind now. Last week was also really rough, so I've got to try and like catch up on everything and make sure I don't get too far behind. But doing 2 pages a week is low-key kind of hard, so that's been rough. But that's okay. I did this to myself. I had to do this, otherwise the comic would not get done until I was 115 years old. And that logistically... I'm not going to George R.R. Martin this. I can't do that to people. Okay, so now... I'm going to do this. And we're going to do this. This, turn all of this off, and then I gotta go like this. I don't need these names, get out of here. Why would you reset that? Actually, I kind of want to go like this. Yeah, my mistake was not starting on like a smaller comic. I really wanted to do this adaptation because at the time I started it, like literally nobody in America knew about Journey to the West, which was very sad. And I wanted to be able to spread a more accurate version of it because a lot of the stuff that gets published for the West is just like really dumbed down. And it is not a very, I don't know, enjoyable experience to watch something that's like, yeah, so bastardized because they're afraid that the American audience is not going to get it or understand it. So I was like, I'm going to do that. That sounds fun. And then I regretted everything because then I realized like this 100-page or 100-chapter epic was going to probably slowly kill me. So I had to cut a lot out of the script that I was working with, which is okay. Sometimes that happens. So I removed a lot of the like Monster of the Week parts of the story and then focused in on really what I wanted to talk about with this comic, which is like what makes a person or doesn't make a person redeemable. And so now I have a little bit more of a concise story that still contains a lot of the really fun characters without sacrificing too much. I think, anyway. Yeah, it is. It's so amazing. I 100% agree, Felix. I remember the first thing that I ever saw that was an adaptation of that was, well, I guess technically the first thing I had ever seen was Dragon Ball, when I was a kid. I didn't realize it was an adaptation of Journey to the West. No clue. I had no idea. But looking at like more modern influences, I played Odyssey to the West. And then I also enjoyed Monkey King Hero is Back. I like pirated a copy from China before it ever came to the US. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, why do we not have this content over here? And it's just because people are lame. That was the answer, because people are lame. I started working on this before Lego Monkey Kid was even a thing. So I get a lot of people that ask me, it's like, did you start this because of Lego Monkey Kid? I've never seen an episode of Lego Monkey Kid, but I respect Legos. And I applaud Lego for adapting such a beloved classic and making it approachable for people. And also, too, the characters are really, really fun. I do have some Lego Monkey Kid merch, though, actually, that I picked up. I did an art trade with another artist at an artist alley at one point, and they were like, "Oh my god, you have Wukong stuff?" And I was like, "Do you have Wukong stuff?" And then we had a moment. So I got some of the cutest keychain of all time. Yeah, comics are very gross to produce, but in my opinion, it's like one of the most worthwhile things I think I've ever done. It's insane seeing my art at the beginning of the comic and then looking at my art now and being like, wow, like, I did that. You know, it's like, AI could never. It's a very, like, uplifting feeling for sure. No, actually, I'm not going to do that one. Just kidding. I was full of lies. I'm the one who tells the lies. I don't know if anybody in here watches Digital Circus, but that fish is my fucking favorite. This is Photoshop. Yeah, I work in Photoshop. Although Clip Studio Paint is very, very similar. I have the unfortunate luck of being born a millennial, and then effectively the only digital painting software that we had at the time was Photoshop. Now so many amazing alternatives have come out, but like I've been using this effectively since like the early 2000s. And so now there's no going back. I also teach this in classes at an art college as well, so this is like, I guess what would be considered the, quote, industry standard for art, or like the video game and animation industry, I should say, but not necessarily like, if you're just making digital art for fun, like there's no wrong answer. Photoshop Garbaggio. I got a Journey to the West because of Lego Monkey Kid, and got disappointed at how much the show skipped. That's interesting. Yeah, most of the people that I talk to, they love it to death. I haven't really heard too many negative critiques of it, but yeah, I can imagine that they probably had to skip a lot just because, yeah, even for me, I'm only going to be tackling some of like the major demons and things. Like obviously you want to include like Red Boy, Princess Iron Fan, Bull Demon King. I think like the White Bone Spirit I'm probably going to do as well. But a lot of the ones in between that, it's just like, you have to ask yourself, like, how much can I reasonably fit in before becoming a mummy by the time I finish this story, you know? That really is the question. Oh my god. I am looking at that video of the fish in the wheelchair, Ava. I love that. I love that somebody built him a little swim bladder so he could swim around. Yeah, it's intense. It's yeah, it's pretty intense. I tried to keep as much as I could, because the relationship that I really want to focus on, and like the lesson in this is like, how with like demons, at least is like in this lore to the stuff that I've established for this comic, it's like you can have noble demons, I think, and I do think that there have been good demons, but even good people do like it's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions kind of thing. So really talking about what makes people evil, whether or not people are redeemable, why they do the things that they do, and how things are not necessarily like super black and white. And as much as we want it to be black and white, that's not often the case, and you have to be able to make good judgment calls to figure out how to save people as best as you can without also sacrificing your own safety too. And so that ends up causing a bunch of like issues interpersonally between Sean and Wukong because they have very different ways of going about dealing with those issues. So that is really like the core of at least how I want to tell this, and hopefully people can relate to like a lot of the stuff that we're seeing going on in the US especially as well, to try and kind of make this story more universal. I kind of want this one. Yeah, because Sean has to learn the lesson that like sometimes radical love is not enough to be able to save people. And sometimes you need a fist, you know, and like Wukong is that fist. But Wukong on the flip side also needs to learn that you know, just like no matter how many demons you fight, how many people you kill, how many evil people you wipe off the face of the earth, unless systemic change happens, more evil people will continue to be born and grow up in these broken systems. And so it doesn't matter how many people you kill, it doesn't fix anything, you know? Oh my god, it's our on clockwork clocked in bot. They're gone. I killed them. A bot always shows up. One bot every stream between 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. my time, and I'm like, I don't know why they're here on clockwork. Like, why did they all show up at the same time? Why? Hydrate. Everybody should drink some kind of a beverage so that way we don't become crusty. We got a whole self-care combo, so make sure you sit up, stretch, don't shrimp. I was shrimping pretty bad, actually. Not gonna lie, I was pretty crispy. I was a little crusty. Okay. Yeah, looking good. This is the most annoying part. Oh, why is there... Hold the phone. That's why. It needed to be cropped real bad. Real bad. Zoom in. Working on like comics for mobile is like wild. I mostly work like all of my stuff for print. So this whole comic is also available as like a printed graphic novel. So I have to simultaneously work on both formats, which is kind of rough. Oh my god, I'm drawing, but I'm on a shrimp break. No, that's so true. Shrimp breaks are important. Oh. But of course, this is not the right size. Because of course it is. I love how Photoshop will just pick random font sizes every time I open the program. So it doesn't, it used to remember back in the good old days of like CS4 to CS6, it used to remember font sizes, and now it just doesn't do that anymore. Like, you guys are collectively actively making Photoshop worse. And also simultaneously somehow not fixing the bugs that have been there since CS2. I'm not really sure how you all are doing that. Yeah, every time I go to put down a font, like a bubble, I've noticed that this is like kind of a huge issue. It will randomly pick a font size, either based on what I've copied, or alternatively based on what the size of the dragged out text bubble that I've made is, which is not great. It used to just consistently, like, if I had it set, for example, to like 20-point font, for example, it would just keep 20-point font as the default no matter what, and whatever was pasted into the bubble would always be at 20-point font regardless. But now it will just randomly just pick a different font size, and I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get it to not do that. Super annoying, though. I'm going to actually move this panel this direction for this particular case. I love getting phone calls from suspected spam. They can't even commit. They can't even be actual, like, spam. They can't even be pan-fried or pan-seared spam. They can't even be teriyaki spam. I would take teriyaki spam over suspected spam. Yeah, Photoshop just notoriously has always been, like, really, really buggy. So, the longer it's gone on, the worse it's got. Like, there's still a bug, like, no joke, in this. Like, when I first started using Photoshop, there used to be a bug where you would go to click something in the color selector, and then, like, just over here, right, I'm going to click the color picker here, and as soon as this menu opens up, it immediately causes an onslaught of a bunch of different, like, help menus to open up. So the web browser will open as if you have asked Adobe or Photoshop to open up a help document, which is not what's happening, and it will open up, no joke, 40,000 of them. It is literally terrifying. 4 million of them. And it still does that. That is a still extant bug in Photoshop to this day. They still have not fixed it. And CS2 came out in 2005, okay? It has not changed. Actually, I'm realizing I don't like that. There we go, that's better. I love how Wukong's like, oh, what are we even supposed to be doing? And Yin's like, I don't know, go run into traffic. Like, I don't know, just go, just go die. They're like, okay, let's save this. Okay, now we gotta look for good photo references. Unfortunately, I think this is not going to give me any of the results that I want. Everything is going to be up way too close. Oh my god, they got Pomelo. I once had one of my managers call me to ask if I could pick up a shift and my phone marketed it as spam. Oh my god. You're like, it is spam. I ain't doing it. Oh my god, Punch is so cute. I'm so glad that he finally got a little hug. But it does make me really want to buy one of those IKEA orangutan stuffies because they're very cute. I do love Punch. He's very adorable. That would break Wukong's heart. He literally would be traumatized. Like, he physically could not handle it. Oh, this is in, like, China. Actually. Oh, no, actually, Vietnam. Not bad, though. I might keep this one. Oh, my God. Punch the monkey. You should just Google it. I could Google it, but I don't think it would cover the saga of Punch the monkey. He's a very cute monkey, and he does have a happy ending. But yeah, Google videos of Punch the monkey. Oh my god, he's so cute. Oh, actually, this is going to be the one I use. Punch is going to lead the monkey revolution. Is Punch a macaque? Yeah, I thought he was a macaque. Yeah. He looks like Wukong. I based Wukong's design off of a macaque. A macaque and a langur. He's like a fusion. Let's see, I'm gonna actually drag this like this. I really wish the cropping on this photo was better. Whoever took this original photograph gets an F. No, I'm just kidding. Alright. We're gonna rasterize this layer. Make it black and white. Filter. Filter gallery. Oh my god! That's crazy. No, wait. Now, hold on. Now I have to know. Did Google... Oh my god! Google loves Punch the monkey. That is really cute. Oh my god, that's gonna break me. Oh my god, and we can replay the monkeys as much as we want. I can't. I can't. Yeah, I really want to buy this damn orangutan. He's 20 bucks. I could go to IKEA right now and get this damn monkey. What an icon. Punch is the hero that we needed, not the one that we deserved, you know? Oh my god, that's so cute. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to open up Daz. This will be an easy page to get through today. me go ahead and get rid of this. Yes, yeah, I based a lot of his design off of Rhesus, the Rhesus macaque, especially based on the coloration as well. Particularly, there are very rare baby macaques that are born orange. So in particular, I'm thinking, yeah, this baby. This I was really inspired by, but yeah, it's a very rare genetic mutation where the monkey, the macaque, who's supposed to be black, they're supposed to be typically black or brown, they end up bright orange. So, and they get a little bit darker as they get older, but like you can see the parent here is a black monkey. So I was really inspired by that. But it's definitely this phase shape was what I was going for. A little bit longer. So it's like a fusion of like this kind of a face and Langurs as well. So pretty fun. But I love this too. This in particular, it like the opera makeup is based off of this kind of a monkey as well, with the red eyes. Yeah, this particular look. I love the gold too. Amazing. Beautiful art. China's cool. Chinese art is amazing. Trying to figure out how often I want Wukong to have just like the Ruyi Jingbang out, and I think that the answer is probably not that often. Let me actually bend these arms. Should I realize that he doesn't have pockets? So I actually have to. I wish that he had pockets. That would make my life a lot easier. But alas. So for those of you who are new to stream, I use 3D models to better estimate the position of my figures, so that way I don't have to redo the anatomy every single time. It's a trick that I learned from a storyboarding professor, and I'm very grateful for it. That guy was like, hold on, I'm going to teach you how to work so fast. And I was like, bro, this changes everything. I don't know if you understand. I always have to like stage Sean downstage because she's like so short. Okay, let's see. So sorry, I can't show it on stream because these models are very anatomically accurate. And the last time I showed one of these things butts on stream, Jeff Bezos banished me to the Shadow Realm. So I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Jeff Bezos decided that he didn't like butts. On that day. Can I please have a camera? Thank you. I want to go to sleep forever. I wish to go to sleep. Let me see. So we're going to go a little bit. I'm actually going to have to move Sean. There we go. Better. All right, let me drag this over here. I discovered a piece of forgotten media under a small pile on my desk. Oh my god. You're like, hello. This is a surprise. Mr. Bubs, you can't be scratching my chair, Mr. Bubs. Is this because you want your schnackies? This cat. Oh my goodness. Mr. Boobert, you can't, no, you can't lick my cream cheese. This is my bagel, Mr. Bubs. Jeff Bezos is the extreme opposite to Sir Mix-a-Lot. Oh my god. Yeah, Wukong's, all of his clothes in this comic are stuff that he's looted off of other people. Or been gifted, because otherwise, like, legit, he just doesn't have clothes. No, Mr. Bubs, you can't eat you can't have my cream cheese. I know you really want it, but you can't. We have to say no. Say no to drugs, Mr. Cat. Yeah, Chinese opera is amazing, though. Incredible theater form. I love it so much. Let me make sure that these guys are the right height, because otherwise that's going to get awkward. All right. Now we can bring this back over here. I'm going to turn this off. I like these particular shots because they're like all silhouette based, so I don't have to do insane amounts of work. This whole comic is like the opposite of my typical art style, and it's been an insane journey of like, how do I work smarter, not harder, so that I can handle all of the work that I have by myself. Mr. Bubs, can I have some space? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I don't know if you can see him. Wait a second. Sir, can I have some room? Sir? Sir? This is the kind of nonsense I have to deal with. Yeah. Can you smell the scent of cream cheese? And you're angry? Yeah, that's what I thought. I can't. Mr. Bubs, I cannot. Oh my god. This is my office cat. His name is Tatsu. Oh my god, why are you like a drunk little old man? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna need you to get off of here. Get out of here. He just like got up on the desk and then began breathing really heavily into my face. He has sinus issues, and so he like wheezes like a little pug. And I'm like, bro, you're very close to me right now. I recognize and respect everything that you've got going on here, but also I'm gonna need you to back up. It's like, sir, please, you're killing me. He's mad because my husband had to go to work. And no one is here to give him couch cuddles. He's just very old. Yeah, Wukong, I imagine, takes super good care of his hair. Oh, I don't remember which shoes are on this outfit. Let me go open up the Kofi poll. I don't remember. Which shoes did you guys pick for Sean so that she has shoes? What was her shoes? What was the situation? Loafers. Let me look up a picture of loafers really fast. Otherwise, I'm not going to have any idea what's going on. I had like an approximation of what this shoe looked like in my brain, and then couldn't remember. Chunky. Got that chunky heel. I like these big old shots. 99% of this chapter is Wukong beating the ever-flying snot out of somebody in an alleyway, so that's gonna be fun. And Sean has to be like, bro, you cannot just beat people. And he's like, what? He gets to loot more clothes, though, so I guess that's fun. Oh, cool. Your desk is fully clean. Good job, good job. Yeah, ears is always good. Ears are funky, but once you get the way that the helix and the conch part of the ear goes, then it's a lot better. Maybe now he'll have pockets. No, hold on. I have to show you the origin. If you haven't read my comic, by the way, you can do so by following the link that I just dropped into the chat. It has over 250 pages at this point, which is insane. But the funniest to me is that he's wearing this fast food uniform almost the entire time for the beginning of the comic. And then he shows up like a badass when Sean needs some additional help. And then, no joke, he shows up and he has zero clothes on because he caught on fire the entire way there and has no clothes. So he proceeds to kick the snot out of this dude and then loot his clothes. And then wears that for like 3 days. So this man legitimately has no clothes to his name. He has his Trippy Taco uniform. Now this nice hanfu that like Sean's dad gave him. And then that guy's looted clothes. Very nice. See you in a little bit, Carrick. Good job getting done with your color. Very, very, very good work. I'm sure it's beautiful. I didn't know how he was going to look with a ponytail. This is all random speculation. I went rogue. And now here we are. Yep, being on fire can burn your clothes off. Exactly. No, Wukong is the king of Fafo. Like, the fuck around and find out is strong with this man. So that's legit what happened. He was like, I'm free! And then it's like, no, bro. If you step 2 seconds away from this person you're supposed to protect, you just catch on fire. I don't make the rules. This is just the way that it goes. Sorry, Buckaroo. So unfortunately, he becomes a Krispy Kreme. A little too free. Well, like I think about, I do think that it is kind of terrible, but the collar that he has, like the headband is literally the human version of a shock collar, like all things considered. So unfortunately, he gets to deal with that for like the entirety of the comic. I do feel low-key kind of bad for him. No tail with this outfit, though. Sometimes he's a tail guy, sometimes he's not, you know? Nice. Super easy page. All right, and we got dialogue, I think, on this page as well. Her shoes are really cute. Y'all really built the best outfit for her this chapter. All of my Ko-fi members have voting privileges on what Sean wears every time she needs to change an outfit. And anybody who has a $1 membership over on my Ko-fi can do that. You also get early access to the comics as well. Oh yeah, he's really good at finding art resources. Speaking of Jace, he just messaged me. When Carrick comes back, I'll have to see if they want me to share their work on the rabbit. It's so cute. So cute! Okay. What is the dialogue here? What are we working with? I don't remember. I wrote this script like years ago, so it's like a lot of this is like, oh, it's a caption. A lot of this is me looking at this script again for the first time in a long time. Oh, I'm gonna actually have to do a variation on her outfit because this is a couple days later as well. So I'm probably gonna remove the oversized shirt off of it for this version. But that's okay. Let me see if I can figure out. This one did not have one. There's one. It is Bo Burnham. Yeah, this is my I'm trying to cope with anxiety playlist. This is the Nathan Lamb playlist. I'll write his book eventually, but yeah, this is all the music that he listens to. Bo Burnham's inside physically messed me up. On a very personal level. Ending, honey, it already did. You're not gonna slow it, heaven knows you've tried. Got it good, now get inside. Okay. Nice and easy. And then am not going to need this or this, but I am going to need... Yeah, well, you want to know what's fucked up, Cal? You ready to hear more bullshit about that? So, at this point in the timeline, because I'm 31, going to be 32, so Nathan would have been 31, 32 in July, right? 2018 would have been the year for him now, because he's 8 years ahead of me, right? He would have just gotten a job at this place called Novel Beginnings, and around the same time that he had like effectively a cataclysmic superpower awakening, Jace got the notification that we were going to be moving to Canada. So it was a huge, massive life shift for him. And then he slowly found out more and more and more that the job that he was working at was corrupt and had a bunch of ethical, moral issues in it. And I just got that email from my boss today. And I'm like, are you fucking joking? Like, why? It's just like to the point where I'm like, I can't deal. He wasn't even a self-insert to begin with. I feel like the universe is just playing a joke. It's like some weird, cruel joke. I don't even know. Shit's nonsense, though. Yeah, unfortunately, the history that I have with this character is that I role-played as him for a tabletop campaign, and he's one of the major reasons why I transitioned. But overall, like, I didn't really make him anything like me. There was not really anything about him that was like explicitly like, oh yeah, this is a self-insert for me. He's not a creative. He's a biochemist. You know, there's like so many things about him that are just not like me. But I'm not even exaggerating when I say one for one. Like, I know too much about this man's life, and his existence since like 2018 has been like a one for one for my life, and it is the craziest shit I've ever dealt with. No idea. I've been psychic before, but this is like next level. Like I've never experienced anything like this. Like, it's crazy. Oh, that is like Mondo huge. There we go. That's what I want. I'm gonna actually move this over too. Yeah, I've been psychic my whole life, intensely psychic. But yeah, I would have never expected this. So now I'm all gun shy because Nathan spent the entirety of 2018 getting shot at and his life was like in danger. So now I'm like, here's hoping. Okay, well that was really, really fast. Okay. I'm actually going to need pixels again because I do not want to draw these outside shots here. We're not going to do that to me. Yeah, I wouldn't really consider Nathan a self-insert, but he definitely changed my life. Like I've never had a creative experience like that. Shit's wild. Like, Cal, did I ever tell you how I predicted that stupid acetylcholine Harvard meta study because of the shit that I was working on for that book? That shit is probably the most insane. Like, that was nuts. I feel like I am, like, looking into the nth dimension. It is indeed a little bit not in the center. This is not. There we go. These guides are not perfect anymore, but that's okay. I'm actually just going to leave this like this. No, not that one. I needed this. I recognize that I'm like a really like spiritual person though. Not everybody subscribes to that kind of stuff, but I definitely do. Actually, I'm gonna go like this. Crop this. Let's see here. Filter gallery. Now I don't have to worry about it. All right, let me turn this camera around. And I'm gonna move Sean. She needs to pick up a carrot. I'm like, quick, Sean. Your carrot. Mr. Bubs, are you punching shit back there? Oh my god, my cat's being a felon. I might have to go feed him because he's getting angry. He's being violent. For context, he's like punching a trash can because he's mad at me that I didn't give him a schnickety schnack. Oh my god, Mr. Bubbert. He's so bad. Yep, you're right. I said no to cream cheese. You're right. So I'm going to actually go give him a little bit of a snacky because otherwise he will continue to punch that for forever. I will be right back. Okay, he was very dramatic the entire time, but I am pleased to inform everyone that yes, indeed, he's gonna live. Also, character design for the rabbit is so good. I love the like jade green and the like red orange of the skirt. It's very cute. But I do like the pink too. You did a great job with it. I don't remember how long I'm going to be actually like doing this today. Let me go look at my work calendar. Oh, I'm going until 2:30, so I still got like 40 minutes. That is like plenty of time. Plenty of time. Okay, hold on. Let me censor the butts. I feel like a middle schooler being like, hold on, I gotta draw over the butt crack. Otherwise, Jeff's gonna get mad. Well, it's funny because orange is like, we, at least here in the States, we associate rabbits with eating carrots. And so from like a Western or like an American color design, it works really, really well. Okay. Sean's getting a carrot. More like a middle school teacher having to censor the butts so the kids, especially Jeff, isn't weird about. Jeff is like, haha, teacher said butt. It's like, why are you guys like this? You guys had one job. Yeah, I got that suspension notice and I was like, why? And they were like pornographic nudity and I was like, I'm sorry, excuse me? What do you mean? Like, what are you saying? And they were like, there was a butt. I was like, oh. So you guys are just babies. Hot tub streams are fine, but a realistic 3D model of a butt, too far. Jeff just can't handle the butt. I have a weird problem with censorship in the United States, but that's a whole other thing. Hold on, let me go make sure the butt is covered over here. No booty crack. Yeah, the art, I think that's what happened. I think the art was too bootylicious, clearly. I might do the background here again as well. Trying to avoid having to draw. Like, I typically only draw interiors by hand, and if I can avoid as much as humanly possible having to do outside, we're going to be in a good spot. If I can get through the line art on this page, I'm going to be very happy. Yeah, thankfully, I would argue I'm very lucky. I have like, I don't know what you would call the opposite of aphantasia. I would consider my brain to be very hyper sensitive, hyper visual. So I get overstimulated a lot easily is the only downside of that, but I think of things very cinematically, which tends to be super useful for the most part. It also means that I like don't sleep, but that's okay. My brain just runs like 24/7. Yeah, I try to think of things, and I guess this is probably coming from my like animation background, but I try and think of things as best as I can through camera lenses, which is where these models are really helpful because I can set up a camera with a specific focal length in a scene. And I'm thinking about it as if I am a cinematographer. But I also went to school for like concept art and storyboarding specifically, so like I was very lucky to have a good storyboarding professor who was like literally elite. He was just so good. And so getting that kind of perspective was really helpful with framing. Oh my god. This is where my brain starts to decide to shut off. Come on, buddy. You gotta live. I still have to... God, I have to grade my students' work. I don't wanna... So many kids have turned in AI this semester. I don't want it. Actually. That sounds fun though, Aqua. I love that. Yeah, I try my best to make, anytime I'm doing like studies, I try really hard to make it like there be a reason for it, you know? Like technically even me doing this, like this kind of an exercise where you're drawing over top of a 3D model that you made is in a way a study as well, you know, like, yeah, so I always try and make them as practical as possible. Make a specific painting that the goal is to practice certain things. It also makes it less boring for me, I think, where it's like I don't like doing studies over and over because I get really bored. Yeah, that's a great goal. Yeah, I did very similar stuff for my like drawing the human head class when I was doing that over at AAU. They had us break everything down into like hands, heads, and then ears, mouth, nose, like that was eyes, that was pretty much the vibe as well. And then we went on to do a bunch of like a billion heads of all the same dude that looked exactly like Walter White for whatever reason. That like weird Walter White stunt double man that I think about sometimes in the middle of the night. That guy was so specific looking. I need to do more like I haven't done a lot of digital painting and cast shadow studies in a minute, so that's something that's been on my docket for a while. It's like AO and environment lighting. But I'm going to be working on a lot of environment drawings for my portfolio here soon because I got to get ready to like apply to a bunch of studios, so that'll be fun. I cry. I'm gonna do a bunch of carrots. She's getting carrots. I love how she has to just deal with like trying to go shopping with this dude because he can't be more than like 4 feet away from her or he combusts. And so she has to she has to drag him to the farmer's market. Just awkward. I'd be like, please. I just want to go shopping like a normal human. It is kind of a bummer. She doesn't really get a choice about whether or not she wants to do any of this shit. She just kind of has to. I'd be so tired. At least you can get him to help with the groceries. Not guaranteed. She'd be like, hey, can you help me carry this bag? And he'd be like, you have arms. How are you supposed to fight demons if you can't even carry a grocery bag? She'd be like, I hate you. Did you know that you're hella annoying? He's like, yep. Proud of it. Gladly, I will annoy the shit out of you and all of your friends. See, unfortunately, Wukong is so strong. Like the joke in the original text is that the Ruyi Jingu Bong, the staff that he wields, weighs 36,000 pounds. So like he's so obnoxiously strong. He'd be like, trust me, I don't need the training. This is a you problem, girl. He'd be like, this is all on you. He would argue that he's been spending like 500 years training. And even longer than that, actually, I assume. He's probably about 1,000. Like, he's old. Let me see. She's gonna have a bag. We're gonna have. She has a fashionable, reusable tote. Now this dude is so lazy. He literally will do anything physically possible to get out of like doing anything. If he can, he will. Yes, well, yeah, and that has to do with Chinese zodiacs or Chinese elements. And also, everybody should totally stretch and hydrate. Thank you for the self-care reminders, Carrix. But yeah, it's Wukong is like a fire element, and water is the opposite of fire, and so it's like Pokemon. Oh, my groceries are here. Guess I get to go do that. I get to go get my grocery bag from downstairs. Speaking of groceries, yeah, that's a really important like plot point. Is that every single thing in the universe, no matter how powerful it may appear, always has one weakness. And so to have hubris and assume that that you can fight anything and conquer everything is ignorant, you know. And so there's a lot of like divine retribution that happens because of that. Are you sending me small frogs, Chips? Look at those little frogs. Boy, howdy, do I love reusable shopping bags. She looks so tired. She's like, if I could get this man away from me right now, I would. Because he's been sleeping in her house, like... he can't even, like, he doesn't even have a place to live. Like... He's a squatter, like literally a glorified squatter. I'd also be dumb, to be fair. She's like, please. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Wukong struggles with underwater combat primarily because his core nature is defined by metal and fire elements, which are inherently weak or countered by water in Chinese Wuxing philosophy. As a stone monkey, earth and metal, born from fire and refined like iron in a furnace, water suppresses his fiery and explosive abilities, limits his mobility, and potentially impacts his ability to cast spells. He also can't speak underwater, and so in Taoist magic, he needs to be able to speak in order to cast a lot of his magic as well. So, if he can't speak because he's underwater and he's holding his breath, there's also that too. In my particular version, I have Wukong having been born in the year of the dragon, which makes him particularly auspicious, but unfortunately, that also, it makes him a fire dragon. So he's a metal, like, magic being by nature, based on what he is, but then fire element for his zodiac. So all in all, water and Wukong is a no-no. He has to go fight a dragon in a sewer in this too, so that should be kind of fun. He's going to get his ass kicked in the sewer. That's just kind of how that goes. But also too, I have like, I've added in this particular iteration of this that he can get shot by bullets, so he's not 100% invincible, and it's because, like, I mean, metal is metal. Metal can puncture metal, so... He's not completely immune from it. It's not going to kill him immediately. He could take like 30 bullets, but like it's not going to be a good time. Uh-oh, I'm running low on greens and meats. You got to get meats. Wukong should start paying rent. Yes, you know, and he probably would, except now he can't go to work. So like, Sean is so upset. Yeah, he's got to go fight a dragon prince in the sewer. It's gonna be a bad time for him, for everybody involved, actually. But that's how they get their car, so kind of important. Motorcycle, chicken, they're all the same. If he can't pay rent, he should at least carry the groceries. Thankfully, over time, he becomes slightly less insufferable. You know, like, he starts to understand that his actions directly impact other people, and, like, that's how they get their car? Yeah, you heard what I said. Their car is a transformer. It's a car and a motorcycle and a chicken. Yeah, because all in the original book is commanded by Guan Yin to transform into a horse. That's where Sansang's horse comes from, is he's a dragon prince that owes a debt. But yeah, in my version, he's a chicken. Because they gotta disguise the dragon somehow. And a chicken is at least not that that conspicuous. It's a car, motorcycle, and a chicken? Exactly. If it's gonna be a pain in the butt to deal with, then at least it's gotta be useful. The chicken is purse sized. But yeah, most of the time it's like either Wukong's riding a motorcycle or is it's like a Dodge Thunderbird. Or not a Dodge Thunderbird. What is the oh, it's a Ford Thunderbird. Yeah, from like the 80s. But I don't know. I might do like a 60s Thunderbird instead. I'm not sure if I want it to be more of a Back to the Future kind of vibe. Or if I want to do like late 70s, early 80s Thunderbird. It kind of depends on the vibe. But the Thunderbird is a cool car. Transformers more than meats, Peacock. I can't. Yeah, it's pretty good. I was like, how am I going to get them to go around the city? Because they clearly don't need a horse in this version. You know, I'm like, everything in Los Angeles is relatively walkable, or you can get there by bus. So I'm like, there's got to be a good reason that they have this car. And the answer was they need a transformer. But the sewer fight is ridiculous. It does not go well. And Sean realizes very quickly that Wukong is not as effective as he's cut out to be, or that he says anyway. She's like, oh, so you can get your ass kicked. Yes. He actually, high-key kind of sucks. Yeah, he has a bomber jacket in this version. I want to make the bomber really bad. I have a print-on-demand company that I use for a lot of my Sun Wukong merch that I sell. And they have the ability to make custom all-over print bomber jackets. And I really do want to make like Wukong's like tiger print bomber jacket just for me to wear. Like I just want that for me. Just because it's cool. I also would like to make the Trippy Taco uniforms at some point, too. I have this jacket that's from Straight to Hell Apparel. Let me see if I can find the right one. This one. It's called The Hero. Technically, it's yeah, I guess it's a bomber style. Sort of. But this particular jacket I associate with Wukong pretty heavily. I really like this jacket a lot. I don't think that they make this jacket anymore, actually. But I definitely based his jacket off of, or like the Tiger Bomber off of this jacket in particular. I really love that jacket a lot. It's a great jacket. It also came with a free bottle opener, so I feel like that's pretty sick. I use it surprisingly often. I don't really drink, but like when I need a bottle opener, that shit comes in clutch. To like figure out how long his hair is consistently. A week for motorcycle fashion and motorcycles. Yeah, he's got some pretty sick outfits planned for this entire thing. I'm pretty stoked. But lots of fun motorcycle chase scenes. Bo is also a great character from like I don't know. I really wanted to combine all of my my love for like American kung fu movies in particular with like classic Chinese elements as well. And so there's a lot of like old school like 80s kung fu references in this thing as well, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and like even like other comic influences like The Crow. I don't have a whole lot of Wukong merch, but I do have some. I have some Wukong themed tees, stickers, T-shirts. One of my favorite hoodies has like a embroidered like Wukong like Chinese opera logo on the front. And it lasts. They last forever. Like I have abused that hoodie. I wear it like probably 2 to 3 times a week, and it like the patch hasn't fallen apart. So I love the I love the manufacturer. We do love shaking Wukong inside that fucking keychain. He deserves it. Sometimes you do a wrinkle and it's just ain't right, you know what I'm saying? That's what just happened to me. Yeah, eventually I will get to it. I want to make Trippy Taco uniforms really bad too. I'm actually going to put his hand like this instead. I don't like how this model lined up here. Alright, I'm going to put his jacket in a different spot here. He has this sick jacket, but he can't even wear it because LA is like 40 million degrees in the summer. There's like no point. I'm probably going to put him in something short sleeve for the next outfit swap. Whatever he steals off of Tiger, it's going to be more of a summery outfit, I think. Because this is going to be too hot. Some Hanfu are not that hot. Like, if you got like a nice cotton Hanfu, it's not going to be so bad, but I imagine he is, like, with the fur, boiling alive. And not in a fun way. Oops. You know what would be fucking good is if I didn't forget that he has a neck. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty nice. Necks are important. Just in case anybody knew or needed to know, necks are really important. Oh, yeah, Wukong plushie would be so cute. I have some Wukong pillows, but not plushies. I have to find a good, like, plushie manufacturer. Next import? I don't know! As somebody who has no neck can concur, I'm doing just fine without a neck. Everything is chill over here. Dreams should go to California. I have to do more proofreading today. I don't want to. I'm almost done with this novel that I'm working on for this other author. I'm very tired. Wake up with another plan. Alright, I got about 10 minutes left. Let's see if I can get this going here. I love how upset she looks at those carrots. She's like, I hate carrots. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that this happened to you. What did the carrots do to you, girl? Tell me your secrets. I'm sorry this happened to you. Actually, I kind of want to do more of a gradient. There we go. I don't think I want to finish this line art today, but that's okay. She's upset because Wukong ain't helping, right? He's just literally just standing there. He's like, that's nice. Carrots, not a fan. It sounds like next we're a myth made up by the shadow government. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Aunt Pam works for the shadow government. Oh no. Not Aunt Pam. I don't have an Aunt Pam. I have an Aunt Karen though. And that is not even a joke. And she's exactly like what you would expect. Aunt Pam. He's such a whiner. Do they at least pay her and have good health insurance? We're asking the important questions here. Is Pam okay? Like, actually, genuinely. I don't know. Based on what happens to my dad-in-law all the time, every time the government shuts down, he doesn't get paid shit. He works for, like, signals analysis for the government. Every time that shit shuts down, he's like, well, guess I gotta do DoorDash. So from what I understand, probably not. Unless Pam's in with the cool shadow government and not like the lame government. I hope Pam gets health insurance. Genuinely. God, he's such a whiner. This man, he's not allowed. All he does is fucking complain this whole comic. This whole comic. He's like, it's hot. And he's used to the tropics. Like, he's just a whiner. I think Los Angeles would be too dry for him. I don't think he'd like it. And then the oceans in Los Angeles are nasty too. They're not even like... This man is spoiled. He grew up in the Philippines. He doesn't know. I see him. So Aunt Pam is the bird operator. I see. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, my mother does IT for the military, and it's whack. Yeah, no, it's bad. Bad. Yeah, I think as far as I understand, like, yeah, my dad-in-law gets pretty good benefits. But yeah, when the government goes down, it's like they can't do anything. He doesn't get paid. He can't go to the doctor. Like, it's like all of a sudden really bad. Because the government has shut down so many times in the US, they're like having trouble paying for their house. It's like crazy. This guy makes so much money a year. But our government is not very good. Our government kind of bad. Low-key kind of trash. Government from Temu. Government from Wish. You're like, we can't do Temu with dirty like that. Temu did nothing to us. True, though. At least Temu's got the discounts. Hello? Would be great if my hand actually worked, you know? This is one hell of a ponytail. Just saying. Trash. I am trash. Oh my god. Felix, we were all so let down. I think it genuinely, like, at least I recognize I'm like 32, so I'm not old, but I'm also not super young. And I can genuinely say that it was at least marginally better when I was a kid, but, like, not by much. I tend to write a lot of books that are, like, what I would describe as, like, the U.S. Americana experience, in a lot of ways. Most of them are like fantasy books for kids, so they're not necessarily super heavy, but I recognize a lot of my work is definitely very influenced by like the quote-unquote millennial experience growing up. And a lot of the issues that I face. Like a lot of like this adaptation of Journey to the West is about the marginalization of homeless people and the disabled, and how effectively as soon as the government deems that you are like unworthy of like care or love, then you just get literally thrown to the wolves. Like you're just screwed, and then that makes the problem worse. So then it's like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do, you know? It's 2:30. It's time for me to eat lunch. Actually, you know what? Sometimes you just draw a mouth and then you go, you know what? I need a better mouth. Wukong's loud as fuck. we go. Better. Yep, sometimes you just gotta go, never mind. It was fine, but was it good? That's debatable. That's debatable. I don't want to, like, stop doing the line art in the middle of, like, working on this, so I'm going to just kind of begrudgingly, like, finish this entire shabongle here. This whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, I was a 94 baby. Still millennial enough to be a millennial, but almost Gen Z. I'm gonna give him an orange. A weird shaped, a sad shaped orange. Come here, orange. He's like, I'm buying this. She's like, what? With what money? He's like, your money. Buy me this orange, woman. She's like, bro, I don't even have a job anymore because you got me fired from my job. Because you're a weenie. He's like, that seems like an interesting new problem. You should buy me this orange. Bummer that happened to you. This is actually like the size of a grapefruit. Hold on. Hold on. We got a small pomelo. Orange size orange. Here we go. Oh my god, get out of here, Photoshop. I'm just trying to make an orange. Oh, I'm gonna need... Actually... Right, but what does that have to do with me and my orange? Yeah, exactly. He's like, it ain't even peach season, and I'm kind of mad about it. Ah, nice. I'm glad you were able to, like, do a little bit of exercise, though. I'm sure that that's got to feel nice after, like, especially all that time you spent moving and stuff. It's nice to get, like, a refresh after something really big like that. Orange. Almost there. He actually loves peaches. At least in mine, anyway. He loves the peaches. White peaches in particular. Because they remind him of home. Oh, but I see. Artificial peaches. Yeah, I think it depends on the product. Some are better than others. There's that, like, peach peelers candy that we have here in the U.S. that I think he'd really dig. Because he's like, it's a sensory experience thing. I liked these. I thought these were pretty tasty, but you, like, peel the skin off of the outside, and then there's, like, a gummy on the inside. 2 ways to savor the peach magic. They're pretty good. This does look like a naked butt, though. They're pretty okay. But, yeah, they're pretty good. The peelable peaches. I know he probably also is a huge fan of, this. I actually really love this. This was very subtle peach flavor. It wasn't really like super intense, but this is like a viral Chinese peach ice cream. They had a couple of different flavors. I didn't like the mango one as much personally, but the peach one is exceptionally good, and it does indeed look like a little peach. It has like a white chocolate candy coating on the outside, and then very subtle peach ice cream on the inside. It's very, very good. But yeah, this guy's definitely a fruit guy, though. He will go ape on peaches, not to make a terrible monkey joke. But I think tropical fruit just in general. I'm sure he complains a lot about how garbage American fruit is compared to, like, where he was from. I used to be able to get up every day and go outside and get fresh-picked bananas and coconuts, and you guys are charging me $8 for an avocado? As he, like, throws it across the farmer's market. Everyone's like, oh no, he's mad! Two avocados for $10. He's the old man yelling at the cloud. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he's more familiar with, there are like, I don't think he's as familiar with like Latin American bananas and things like that. But definitely like, he would be more familiar with Saba bananas. So he's not going to be like these styles of bananas. You could get these in Asian markets here in the US, but it would definitely be these versus like the Cavendish banana, which is what we eat. But yeah, Saba for sure. But they're more like plantain adjacent. Turon is the shit. He's like, luckily I don't have to eat because I ain't paying these prices. Yeah, they're a little bit meatier than standard Cavendish bananas, so you're not really supposed to eat them like uncooked. But deep fried, they are legit like best banana. So good. Well, and it's crazy. For context, my husband is Filipino. His family, his mom's side specifically, she's from Manila. And like, it shocked her when she came here to the US when she was like 18, and you couldn't just eat fruit that was on the street. You know, so like for them, like over in the Philippines especially, and also parts of China, like you can just walk down the street, and if there's a tree like a peach tree or like a banana tree or anything hanging over into the street, that means that it's public property. So you can just pick it and eat it, and nobody's gonna tell you no. And so she would like walk down the street and eat cashew fruit all day. And then you get here and it's like there's no trees here in the US. And it's like, well, how am I supposed to get fruit? You know, like, what do you mean? I can't just go outside and just pick it. So I'm sure that was a little bit of a culture shock. There are a couple of like environmentalist plot lines that happen in this comic as well eventually, but they're not super heavy-handed. It's a lot of commentary on how like humans, even though they've changed a lot, they haven't really changed at all. And at least Wukong, at least I think he feels like he's consistent, you know. Oh, that's wild. We don't even really have the flat peaches here. I know which ones you're talking about, though. You have to buy those from, like, they call them donut peaches here, which is really funny. You have to buy those from, like, specialty stores, though. Our most popular peaches here in the U.S. are yellow peaches. We like at least where I live in Colorado, they have a there's an area known for growing peaches here, but these are the ones that we eat. I like these, but I do think white peaches are better personally. These ones get too juicy. And also, too, I think white peaches have a more pleasant color. They're just very pretty. But these are also firmer. They have more of like a crunch like an apple when they're like semi-ripe versus the yellow peaches are going to be like really mushy. They get juicy fast. They're like... You have to eat them quickly, otherwise they go bad. You can get white peaches, Aqua, if you're in Whole Foods. That's the only place I've ever seen white peaches at, other than like in Colorado Springs, it would be Asian Pacific Market. That's off of Platte, and then up here we got H Mart. Nectarines are pretty good though. Oh, we got a whole self-care combo. Everybody's hydrate, stretch, sit up. I think I'm pretty much almost done with this page for today. And then I'll come back tomorrow and work on it. Yeah, for sure. It depends on the season, but if you check late summer at Asian Pacific, they'll probably have it. Also, if you haven't been inside Asian Pacific, it's like that area on Platte is janky as hell. So like take caution over there. It is not the safest area. However, the Asian market over there, the Filipino market, rocks. They have loads of Filipino foods in there. The Filipino population in Colorado Springs is actually pretty big, all things considered. Yeah, donut peaches are weird. I've only eaten them once. I did not really like the flavor of them. They're okay. Ah, nice. I get my red bean paste from there. That's nice. I love that. They were a lifesaver while I was, like, living down there. Because, like, that's, like, I think as far as I know, in Colorado Springs, like, legit the only place to get Asian food. They have, like, longanisa and all sorts of stuff in there. Pretty decent selection of instant ramen. But they're a lifesaver for, like, dried fish and squid and stuff. Also, too, because they're Filipino, they have more, like, Chinese-style soy sauce. Versus H Mart up here, I have to, like... I think Kimlon is, like, the only brand of Chinese-style soy sauce. Because everything else in there is Korean. Oh, there is a Korean and Japanese store. That's cool. It's been a minute since I've lived down there. The last time I was down there was, like, 2021, I think. Or 22. And then I moved back up to Denver. I always make the joke that Colorado Springs is the place where good things go to die. I just want to go to Canada so bad. I'm so close. Oh, and then you know what? I forgot. I knew I was going to do it. That would have been silly. That would have been funny. But not the haha kind of funny, like a oh no kind of funny. Alright, we gotta keep all my fingers crossed. Cross every single finger and knock on every piece of wood. And hope that none of my students turned in anything funky this week. Alright, that'll work. That'll work! Oh yeah, pho is... The reason is... interesting fact about Colorado Springs in general is that the Vietnamese population in Colorado especially, but in Colorado Springs particularly, is the largest Asian demographic, or was the largest Asian demographic in Colorado Springs for a really long time. So a bunch of Vietnamese people came in the 70s And so that's been like the easiest to acquire food. My favorite pho place in Colorado Springs is a place called Pho Sister. It's off of South Nevada. Also a very janky area. And the last time I was down there was like a building across the street that was on fire. So like, take that as you will, I guess. But legit, best pho. Amazing food. The owners are so nice. But yeah, South Nevada is just like all in all. That is where you go to die, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they were Pho Brother. They were Pho Brother, and then they sold it to the sister in the family. So I think they rebranded to like Pho Sister. But they used to make their own tamarind paste in there, and that shit was amazing. Amazing. So highly would recommend that. Oh yeah, the entirety of Colorado Springs is sketchy. I grew up in Colorado Springs. I lived there my whole life until I went to college at 18. And actually, I really lived there until I was like 20 because I was doing online and on-ground classes. So I was commuting like 2 to 3 times a week to Denver. And like, I remember always being told like, oh, Lakewood is scary. Aurora is scary. And like, I live in Aurora, Colorado now. And it's like significantly better. Like, it's so bad. It's bad. Yeah, you're right, though. The further north you go, the closer to Monument you get, the better it is. But, like, hoo boy. Hoof! it's bad. My favorite places are down south, though. I really like, off of 24, like, one of my favorite sushi restaurants is down there, Dozo. That's, like, my favorite, top number one sushi place in Colorado Springs is Dozo. Yeah, there were a couple of gems, but a lot of the stuff that I really liked is just gone because they were owned by people who were in their like 60s or 70s, and then they like had to sell their businesses and stuff. Yeah, Colorado Springs is the weird issue of like everybody is moving down there from Denver because it's too expensive to live up here, but then Colorado Springs now has the same population as Denver proper. I'm not even joking. So there is as many people, yeah, in Colorado Springs as there is in Denver. Not the whole like suburban area, so we're not talking like Aurora and DTC, Glendale, Longmont, right? But like Denver Central, and then now the prices are exactly the same. Like it costs as much to live in Denver as it does to live in Colorado Springs, which is nuts, totally nuts. So I would much rather be up here. I'm very grateful that I live where I do. I live in like the Little Korea area of Denver. I'm so blessed. I love this place so much. Oh, that don't work. Yeah, no, not anymore. Yeah, it used to be really quiet when I was a kid. Like, I think the population of Colorado Springs when I was a kid was no joke, like 300,000 people. And it was a big city, but it was not like what it is now. Because I went to high school in Monument, up at like Discovery Canyon up there. There were literally like 200 kids total. I think when I graduated the school, there was like 400 kids there. And now it's a huge school. Oh my God. You're like, I hear the pew-pews. Yeah, no, I lived off of Woodman and Academy, and people would be firing guns off over there. Pretty normal. Colorado Springs is a wild experience. I'm very glad I live where I do now. I don't think I could live down there anymore. You're like, middle Colorado Springs, scary. Yeah, right? Is that a gunshot from the base? Or, yeah, true. True. Yeah, legit, I've never heard a single person ever fire off a gun here in Denver. No joke. And I've lived in sketchy areas. I've lived in Lakewood and Aurora most of the time. And, like, I've never had anything happen. Colorado Springs is the only place where I've been driving down Powers, and there was a kid in the car next to us with a Glock, a 14-year-old with a Glock, who was like doing some gang hazing shit, and like, yeah, we could have gotten shot. That was a crazy day. Nothing happened. The kid ended up getting like pulled over, and thankfully like his gun got taken away, but like kind of fucking wild. Oh yeah, so you guys are like south. I like that area though. It gets quieter down there. I think like the worst area is around like, yeah, that 24 like South Nevada area. It's not great. But I should probably be good, and I should probably go. So tomorrow what I'll do is I'll come back at around the same time. Hopefully I won't be as late again tomorrow. If I get some sleep tonight, I'll be on time. Fingers crossed. But I'll come back. I'll shade this page, get her on done, and then we can take it easy going into the weekend. But I got to go downstairs and get my groceries and make sure that nobody tries to steal my box of vegetables, because I will be very sad if somebody tries to steal my veg. I'll cry. But thank you so much to everybody who hung out. Also, especially, thanks to Felix for the follow. I really do appreciate that. And thank you so much to everybody over on YouTube that subscribed as well. The most recent ones I can see is Jonathan Turner and Italia. I appreciate it a lot. Also, mega thank you to everyone who subscribed to my publishing house on TikTok. I'm now over 1,000 followers on my publishing house too, which is insane. So I'm very, very grateful for that. I really do appreciate it. But I'll be back tomorrow. I hope everybody gets some good rest. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.